Hey, welcome back to another RSG Lunch Stream. I'm Ranger J 1999, your host and part of the RSG crew. Glad to have you here on this Monday. I know it's Monday, it's another start of another long work week, but we're here to bring you something fun to listen to. That's what the lunch stream is all about, to bring you something fun to listen to during your lunch, whether you're listening to us live or listening to us later on, downloading us as a podcast, or re-listen to us on YouTube. That's what it's all about, and I brought some of my favoriteest friends to come along this journey. Let's see who we got today, and then we'll get to the mechanisms. So we've got, of course, he's back from his long vacation in North Carolina, hanging out with Mr. and Mrs. McVenom, the one and only Chill Extraordinaire, Dr. Finn, Medicine Woman.
Hello.
Okay, so Finn's tired, not really being finity. Also joining us from across the pond, he's joining us again, Mr. Mike Hunt.
Good evening. I'm knackered as well. It's been a really long day.
That's right. Also joining us, we've got Grim the Mechanic.
Knackered in American means he's tired.
Mm-hmm. That's an English. And last but not least, we have the lovely Miss Farquhar joining us today.
Hello, all.
All right, so that's the cast of characters we've compiled. Make sure you stop, give us a thumbs up on the video. If you haven't subscribed, please do. If you like the content, and we do a lot of live streaming. So if you haven't, please hit the subscribe button.
Is Farquhar's volume low for anyone else?
I don't know.
Yes.
Miss Farquhar, can you turn your volume up a little bit, please?
Okay.
Okay. And then if you haven't checked out our Patreon, please do. If you'd like to become a Patreon supporter, always appreciate it. We use all of the proceeds to make the streams bigger and better. And then last but not least, we have our ACS campaign that we're doing. We're raising money for the American Cancer Society. And if you would like to contribute towards that, we will get you the details at the end of the stream. Now, if you have questions, please send your questions to in chat. Make sure you put question in front of the statement, and then we will scoop those up. And I'm getting a lovely picture of Miss Farquhar. It just popped up. Oh. You're fine. I'm just sitting here also this face.
I'm just trying to figure out how to work this.
It's like, ha ha!
Is my picture still on there?
No one can see it but me. It just popped up. I'm like, aha! So it's like, who's that? Wait a minute.
Your picture is still up.
Yeah.
But
all right, but she's running around the house. Okay, we see the ceiling. Okay, we're seeing all kinds of stuff here.
And the ponytail.
And the ponytail. That's right. Your cat. That's fine. Don't even worry about it. That being said, get your questions in. Put your question in front of the statement. Dr. Finn will scoop them up, and we will get to all of your questions after we do our Ross reviews. And we'd like to do Ross reviews, and we've got a couple of Ross reviews today. They're Dr. Finn. Let's see. We are starting with, let me pull it up. Starting with Zem's profile, and Zem is in Galaxy of Titans 3. So shout out to Galaxy of Titans 3. Zem is asked us to do a roster review, and what are we looking to do with Dr. Finn? And Dr. Finn is not
muted, and Gigi is acting up for me. Is it?
What?
Is it doing the same for you, where it's not showing any profile pictures for the characters?
No, it's not really. No, it's. Oh boy. Ew. Let's hit refresh on this and see if maybe that helps. Nope, it does not help at all. Son of a biscuit.
Oh no, I'm looking at all the characters, and the only one that's showing up with an actual picture is Hermit Yoda, Jin, and that's it. Oh wait! I saw another one, Zalbar.
All right, let's do the best we can though for Zem. So Zem says, "I need help with Arena. Possible teams are which way to go. Kind of just having fun, but still playing enough for top 200, but can't break top 100. I see just about everything in Arena. I need help with mods bad, so we'll need to look at mods. They're a little scattered, he says. Or they say. My guild just finished our first Heroic Sith raid. Congratulations. So we've done about 4 so far, and I'm 25 out of 145 on Treya. Good. So Sith ratings, please, as well. J comps, possible changes to ship. Pretty much an overall Ross for you. Next Zetas and such. Current farm is KOTOR Stars, but farm gear for finish off Night Sisters and Chewie CLS team. Okay. This is going to be a little interesting because we are not able to see the character. So he's running a Palpatine, Thrawn, Vader, Scion, and Nihilus team. Pretty standard. It does not have Traya, so going to make it really difficult for him to... He's doing fine in ships, more than fine, doing really good in ships, but we got to work on this arena team. So let's go into his characters and look at... Alright, let's filter this a little bit by... Bear with us, I can't make the pictures pop up, so we're going to have to do this a little bit differently. Old Republic. Okay. If you are going to go all in on the Old Republic, you need to start immediately, my friend. Not a lot of work done on here. If your goal is to get Revan, then we need to start working on getting Revan. Some of these characters, I don't know if you just haven't upgraded their stars. I don't know where you are with the farm for these characters, but Revan is a must-have. So your priority of farm, which I think you said you are. Let me go back and look. Okay, I didn't read that right. Okay, his confirm is KOTOR stars. Okay, so let's stick with KOTOR. Get your Knights of the... Get your team ready for Revan. We don't know when he's coming, but you need to start on this immediately from the level that you're at if you're going to go for Revan. You got some work to do, buddy. But you know what? If you stick to it, so start with Bastila, do the ship energy, do the regular energy every day until she's 7 stars. At the same time, you're farming the regular nodes for Zalbar and Jolee. When you get done with Bastila with her ship energy and she's 7 stars, and you can move to Jolee, finish him up, doing the same thing, and then move to Zalbar, and then Mission and T3. Who do we say do first? We'd say do Mission first, right? Because T3's got his own pack. So we can go ahead and work on getting Mission going. As in what he can run besides his Sith. I mean, he's got Palpatine, Vader, Scion, Nihilus. He's got the team that he's running with Thrawn. I mean, I don't have a problem with that, but let's see if maybe...
The rest of his Sith aren't high enough to be arena viable, though.
We can't switch any of those out, but let's see some of the other teams possibly. We know Rebels. Let's see, there's Rebels.
Yeah, maybe a CLS if he's got Chewie and Han.
Let's see. I'm having to actually look at. So Chewbacca is.
Yeah, so he said he put the old Republic on hold to finish his Chewie farm, and now just went for all Revan.
That's fine. Just all in. Do not get off of that farm, no matter what. No matter what.
Yes, stay on target. You need to stay focused on getting that. You can't be distracted. Ooh, piece of candy.
Let's see here. He's got the pieces for the Rebel team. I'm looking for 3PO. Where's 3PO? Why am
Oh, and he is in chat too.
I'm not seeing 3PO unless I'm... Am I going Craig right?
I don't believe so. I'm not seeing it either. So
that might be a hindering factor, unless he just hasn't unlocked him yet. Maybe he has the stars, just doesn't have the credits yet. If you can let us know. I mean, that might be a team that you may be better off with, especially for climbing.
Well, his Ewoks aren't ready, so I doubt he got C3.
Okay, so then that's not an option. So, oof, boy. He does have Chewbacca, which is good. So it means his bounty hunters are going to be pretty solid. They are. They're pretty solid. So bounty hunters are fine. A great team for Terror War defense. You've got them all. Gear 11, I think. 11. Oh, Greedo's 9, but it's okay. Get him up to 11. You should be fine. I think until you get Traya or you get Revan, you're kind of stuck without 3PO. Really makes the Rebels go. I would say that just keep doing what you're doing. We'll look at your mods. Maybe it's a modding issue. I mean, a person you might want to consider putting in there is Nest. Let's look at your scoundrels. Let's see where that's at. Emphasis 6 stars with the Zeta. Yeah, you could put her in your team easily. She can really help you, especially if you get her speed up to go first and really help you control and dictate a lot of things. I mean, a team that I see it still being run, it's still really effective, is the Sith Triumvirate with Thrawn and Emphas. Does really, really well against a lot of teams. So it could be a possibility for you, especially against other trade teams and the Rebel team, because they sit there and start shooting Emphas, and she's like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah, another one you can get away with doing if Emphas isn't working for you. You could try what I was running and doing using Hermit Yoda in there. Hermit Yoda actually works really well with Sith, just with that Master's training.
Troopers need a lot of work. So troopers need work. He said he was working on Night Sisters, so let's look at his Night Sisters. Alright. Zeta on Asajj, need the second Zeta, need the unique on Talzin, but gear 11, gear 10 and Zombie good. Talia's 10, Daka's 10. So get those other 3 to 11. You gotta, and the Zeta for Asajj and Talzin, and that team's really, really super solid. You don't need to do anything else with them. I mean, eventually you'll take them to 12, but don't worry about it. If you can get them to 11, that's totally fine. So Night Sisters are looking pretty good. Bounty Hunters are looking good. Let's look at your First Order. First Order looks solid. Gear 11. Executioner's 6 stars. Gear 7. So if you can get you've already got Kylo Ren, looks like probably his leader. His unique is one you need. There's a lot of Zetas that go on the First Order team, but if you can get them just geared, they are pretty solid for defense. Once you get them going.
First Order Stormtrooper is only 3-star gear 4, though.
I know. That's going to be
Ouch.
a problem. I mean, overall, there's a lot of things you have and a lot of things that you don't have. We just got to... I figure, you said you're working on Night Sisters, getting them gear, fine. Farm the Old Republic, that's your next team that you're working on for your farm. So you've got your farm and you've got your team that you're trying to gear. Once I would do that, then I'd go back, maybe get your First Order team finished. You already got Bounty Hunters done. Let's look at your Resistance. We do not have JTR. Let's look where we are at with that. So we've got Scav Ray, we've got Finn done. BB-8's done. Okay, that's good. Let's look. Check the veterans. All right, veteran Han and Chewie are 7 stars. So when Ray comes around, JTR comes around again, you'll have JTR. That's really going to help you out. Yeah, so you'll be good there. And there's and you can get that team going too with JTR, BB-8, R2. You can go Trooper, you can go Scav Ray. I like to keep Trooper with the Finn team. But again, you're missing some pieces that you need to farm on. So focus for farm is still the Old Republic. We've got to get those characters up because Revan's such a game changer. So no other farming. If you want to incorporate another hard node in there, I don't have a problem with that. With your farming, that's totally fine. If there's a character you want to work on as well, you can. But the Old Republic is your priority farm. Gear would be Night Sisters. I would probably finish First Order out, and then when you get your JTR, you can go ahead and round out your Resistance team with JTR. That'll be a big help to you. So that's really 3 solid teams you can round out with, and then if you get Revan, then you'll be really good. You're already farming Traya. There's nothing you can do until you get her. You're ways away from there. There's not much you can do with your arena team. The pieces you have, there's pieces here and there. But let's look at your mods. So we're having issues with arenas, but let's look at how you have your team modded.
He's got nice mods on his arena team.
Okay. So.
Like his Thrawn is at 302, I think it was. And I mean, he's got some nice mods.
So it's not a
or
mod.
She.
I think it's just the team. It's easy to beat right now. So unless you have a Traya in that team, it's easy to get around. Even with the fast storm like you have, but Revan teams and things like that can go before you. It's a pain in the ass.
Well, that, and he's probably, the issue that he's having is with Bastila teams, because that's it shuts down EP teams like
yeah,
nobody's business.
Yeah,
Until I had Treya, that's what was stopping me as well.
Yeah, and the CLS Rebel team with 3PO is a pain in the ass too, because depending on how it goes. But you've got the Palpatine in there, so really when you're facing those teams, it's just keeping your team up, using Thrawn's ability for the one that got smacked the first round to get him back at health and protection, and just let them kill themselves. I mean, Palpatine beating that team is going to cause the Rebels to basically wear themselves down till you can finish them off. So Rebel teams shouldn't be too hard. They could be, possibly, but you've got a really solid team with what you've got. So, but yeah, you're going to struggle a little bit with Arena. It's not a modding issue, but let's look at your mods just in general, just see how you're doing overall. So we'll go to mods. We'll filter by speed secondary just to look really good. Really good.
That's what I was saying. Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of still blues and purples here that need some work, but yeah, I don't have a problem with this.
Zem's been paying attention. All his best mods are on his Arena team.
Yeah. Not seeing a lot of speed sets. Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
look at the crit avoidance arrow he has on Scion. Plus 20 speed secondary.
Yeah.
That's nice. Don't see many of those.
So really, Zim, you're not doing anything wrong with your roster. I mean, you really aren't. You're doing it the right way. You're missing a lot of pieces, but you can only farm so much, you know. So you've got what you need for JTR. That's the next pillar. You're good to go there. So that's not going to be a problem. You'll get 3PO when he comes back around, but you've got Chewbacca. That's a big deal. So you'll have JTR. You've got Chewbacca. If you stick with the Old Republic, you can get Revan. So the only thing you'll be missing is 3PO, which you can go back and get easily, which is not a big, you know. So all the other pieces are there, and it's just a matter of you just starting to round off these teams. So let's finish Night Sisters to Gear 11 and have them ready to go. Let's go back and work on First Order. And by rounding those out to Gear 11, I mean, let's get those Zetas on those teams. So Asajj, you know, finish your second Zeta, get the unique on Mother Talzin. You can get away with that for a long time. Then we can go to First Order, you know, start farming Stormtrooper. He is a key component of that team. That's another team that you can use on defense. You have to use a solid team to beat it, and it's really solid. You've got the Bounty Hunters in a good spot. Maybe take Rito to 11, but you've got the other ones at 11, so you're pretty good there. Another team that you can use in Grand Arena Territory Wars. For you, it's going to be getting the unlocks of these other characters. You've got a solid Rebel team. Your Imperial Troopers are a mess, but I think once you get done with the Old Republic farming, you need to start farming the troopers.
Well, I'd recommend him focus on getting Death Trooper up first.
Yes,
because he's useful in
farm.
so many other places.
It's a Cantina farm. He's doing Old Republic. Yeah, he can't. So,
well, you know, later on down the line when he's done with his Old Republic. Yeah,
it's going to be Cantina. After the Old Republic tunes are done, you're going to want to go in there and get Death Trooper and get your troopers up. They are fantastic. Add Range Trooper in there as well. You can. It's a team that can do a lot of good stuff for you. So after we get Old Republic, I would say the next team you need to farm would be the troopers, and then after that, you could start rounding out your scoundrels with the Kiristal team. And then once you get your JTR, once you get your 3PO, once you get your Revan, you know, you're starting to round out your team. So this is where we're kind of at, where you've got some farm to do for these other teams, but for your teams that you do have, it's just about rounding out your gear and stuff. So let's do that. Let's get these teams solid to Gear 11 to where they can be really good in the raids, territory wars, etc. And so that's what you need to do. Your mods, fine. I mean, they look really solid.
He asked a question about if he should save his Zetas for Revan or go a different way.
No, we don't know when Revan's coming back, so until we
You're also, in all honesty, kind of far away.
Yeah.
So you have to keep pushing your Old Republic because we don't know when it's coming back. So start working on your Old Republic, but I wouldn't save, especially if you have Zetas that can be useful right now for you.
Yeah.
And if you're struggling against Bastila teams, put them on your Night Sisters, because Night Sisters are a good counter for Bastila.
I was just getting ready to say that.
Yep.
He's got Asajj's lead, but not Talzin's unique, or Talzin's lead. So there's possible Zetas. He's got some really good Zetas on here. He's got his Sith team. What needs to be done for a Sith team. He's got it binds all things on CLS, loyal friend on Chewbacca.
Yeah,
He's got Bastila's lead. So some good Zetas.
All right. I think we've covered the big things that he needs to work on and focus it on. Keep slicing your mods mainly to 5A. And then just stick with that farming plan. Old Republic, Troopers, let's get these other teams rounded out. And I think that'll put you in a good spot. And once JTR comes around, you can work on the gear and stuff on that team. So they'll give you another team that you can use in, Territory Wars, Marine Arena. You're missing, once and then 3PO, he'll be back in about 3 or 4 months. You can start working on the Ewoks here after a month or two of getting these other characters farmed. And then you'll be good to go to get 3PO, get him 7-starred, and then you can add him to your Rebel lineup. In the next 3 to 4 months, if you stick with the Old Republic, you get Revan, you get your JTR, you get your 3PO, your roster is really going to round out. So you'll be in a really good spot. So just stick with what you're doing. You're doing a good job with what you've got. You're doing a good job. We just got to round this stuff up a little bit and farm certain characters. It's monotonous, I know, doing the same thing over and over, but it'll be worth it in the long run. All right. Anything else?
This is a pretty good roster for 2.2 mil.
Not bad. It's not bad. It's getting there. It's getting there.
Yeah.
Anything else, Dr. Finn? I think we covered everything. He's doing fine in ships. Really well
looks
ships.
like you covered everything. If you have any other questions, Zem, I'm ready. I'm reading the chat, so just let us know.
There you go. All right. Next one that we are doing is Jedi Master Anakin, and they are in Judicron Alliance. So shout out to them. 2.3 Fleet Arena doing fine. Regular Arena, not so much. Running the Bastila team with Kenobi and Thrawn. Kind of struggling here with the Bastila team. So let's look at their roster. Well, let's just look at what they want here. So let me look here. Fleet meta, mods focus, arena team, heroic Sith. Looking at a handful of Green Arena teams too. Been playing 11 months now. Completely free to play, up to 2.2 million GP. This will have a lot to work on. Well, it ain't ships, I can tell you that much. Your Fleet Arena, you're currently ranked and you've been top 10. So Fleet is fine, brother. You are doing just fine. Let's look at... So you're running the Bastila team. I hit mods. I didn't mean to hit mods. Let's look at just your characters overall. Kind of hard because they're not showing the pictures. And let's go to your Jedi first.
Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that. It's so annoying. Just like
Yeah, you may want to look and put Hermit Yoda in for Thrawn on that Bastila team. I mean, you can use Thrawn, but I don't know. We need to look at the mods of his Arena team first.
I agree with you. He has no healer really on that team.
No.
And so he definitely needs Hermit Yoda if he has Hermit Yoda there. Otherwise, the Zeta Jolie also works well, but his Jolie is definitely not ready. Your Hermit Yoda is gear 10, which is more than enough to make him viable. You do want to get a Zeta on him, though, with his strength flows, and then he is good to go. So he would be somebody that I would put in pretty immediately into your arena team over Thrawn.
I think the main problem I'm seeing that he's having, why he's at 500, is it's mods.
It is mods. I'm looking at
He does
mods.
not have a wide selection of speed mods, which will hurt, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well,
I just looked at a couple characters, and it's like, yeah.
He's also making a critical mistake.
6-ing.
Yep. You have a total of 7 Gear 12 characters, and you're 6-ing mods, which means now those mods are only allowed on those 7 characters. Stop taking mods to 6E.
Yep.
It is not worth it. You are making it so that a lot of your mods can't be used on other characters simply because you took them too far. And for the reason I'm not entirely sure, like your CLS has a bunch of 6E mods on there. He doesn't even have a ship, right? You have some on your Thrawn, which I can understand to some extent because it can help in fleet. So not as concerned about your Thrawn ones, but the ones on your CLS, yeah. You took up a bunch of mods that didn't need to be taken up.
Yeah, there's like a 2 13s and a 14 6E.
So from now on, no more 6Eing mods. You go to 5A and you stop. It allows you to use those mods on all of your characters, and then you can remod in order to make the best you can for the rest of your team. But you've kind of hurt yourself a little bit here with the 6Es, and now we can't use some of these mods on your other characters. So,
I mean, they're good 6E mods, but just that
some of them.
You can't give them to non-Gear 12s, and since you don't have a large selection of Gear 12 characters, it's gonna hurt a lot.
Some of them are good 6E mods. That's what I was saying. Like, he has a diamond on Thrawn that's a 13 speed after going to 6E. It only rolled a parenthesis of a 3. He has a 2 on a health and a 2 on a critical chance, and it's a tenacity set diamond. Like, that's not worth it.
I said some.
Yeah, I'm just thinking
some.
Yeah, it's
like
some.
the 21 that he has on CLS, the 20 on Thrawn.
Yeah, but now they can't be used anywhere else. So yeah, no more 6E. That has to stop now.
Oh my god, this stupid crap with
not being able to see the character icons.
No, I just got the damn Microsoft virus thing. Granda was getting too.
Okay, I need to hook you up with the script blocker.
It's not that. It's I've got it on. It's just something that Granda was having the same issues too. GG, get your crap locked and loaded, man. Seriously.
Okay, so mods is definitely an issue with your team. You're also lacking speed sets in your mods, right? So we're going to be trying to put together sets based on what your current mods are, and we'll need to kind of reevaluate how you want to mod these characters. Hermit Yoda for Thrawn is definitely one of the adjustments you want to make. You want to make sure that once you put Hermit Yoda in there, Hermit Yoda is modded as fast as possible. You don't need Grandmaster Yoda with a lot of speed. You need him with a lot of offense, with the crit damage triangle. Get him to be hitting hard. You already have an offense set on him, which is good, but we need to you may be able to slow him down some more and get him more damage. And the reason being, if your Hermit Yoda is fast, your Hermit Yoda has a faster base speed than your Grandmaster Yoda, and Hermit Yoda will call Grandmaster Yoda with the Master's Training to go first, and anytime Grandmaster Yoda does a basic attack, he gains turn meter. So Grandmaster Yoda is effectively going to go right after Hermit Yoda anyways, as long as he's not completely devoid of speed, but doesn't need any crazy amount of speed. So we can you modded your Grandmaster Yoda fairly well with offense. So I think you're okay there. You may want to replace your triangle with a crit damage triangle, though. It actually provides you more offense in total. Maintain your offense set if you can. You can replace the arrow with an offense arrow if you have one. I mean, little things like that. And then you'll now have a 30 speed arrow that you can throw on a different character. You'll also want to make sure that your Bastila is fast. Your Ezra is a lot of damage. And I'm looking at how your Ezra is modded right now. Okay, so your Ezra currently has a bunch of level 12 mods that you didn't even max out. So if you're not putting level 15 mods on them, like 5-out level 15 mods, then there's no point in putting them in your arena team. So all of the mods on your arena team, similarly to your fleet, need to be level 15, because otherwise you're missing out on set bonuses. Your Bastila is currently modded with health sets, but I think that's because you lack speed, but she has plus 85 speed, so that should be okay. And your old Ben is, again, running a bunch of level 12 mods. You have to upgrade all of your arena mods to level 15. I don't know if you just put those on there or something, but yeah, no non-level 15 mods on your arena team ever. With arena, You may be able to get away with 4 dot and that kind of stuff. Ships, you can't. Ships always has to be 5 dot, otherwise you lose too many stats. Arena, potentially you can run 4 dots if you have good secondary stats and all that, but never less than 15. So whatever you decide to mod your characters with, take those up immediately. We have to change that soon here.
All right, let's just start going through his teams. Bounty Hunters look solid, obviously. We'll look at First Order. Solid. We can do some gearing and stuff, but looks fine. Executioner 7 stars. I like seeing that. We just need some gear on those teams and certain characters, but looking good so far. Let's see where he is on the Old Republic farm. This one that we're looking at. So Bastila T3, Jolie's almost there. Mission's done. Zalbar 6 star. Yeah, he's gonna have Revan when it comes back around. So great job. Finish up Jolie. Finish up Zalbar, and you'll be good to go. Very good job on the Old Republic characters and being ready to rock and roll.
Which is actually all the more reason for him to start working on speed set mods as well. Very devoid of speed set mods right now. I'm looking at your mods again to see how much you have that's worth slicing, but with your mod energy, I may just say farms the speed set mods.
Could easily do that.
Yeah, he's one of those. He has a few mods that are worth slicing up. Looks like maybe about 3 mods. He has a circle with 14 speed with 3 hits on a blue on Bosk. He has the square on Bastila and the circle on Bastila. I think those would be the only ones I would hit kind of immediately to try and slice up to see if they can get to purple 4 and then gold 5. But other than that, I think you need to work on speed set, because when Revan comes out, I don't know how competitive your arena shard is. I'm guessing based on the fact that you're 533 with your Jedi shard, either it's very difficult or you haven't had the time to do battles. But if it is because it's very difficult, a very slow Revan is going to get you targeted. Unless your Revan is fast, the Revan team does fall apart just like any other team. So mods are important, and so you're going to need to work on your speed set mods in order to get a faster total speed set together. And so that would be what I would work on, actually. Those 3 mods, the circle on Bosk and then the square and circle on Bastila, I would try to raise those. If the speed hits, then you can take them one more time. But if they don't hit, stop it, leave them at purple 3s, and then start working on getting more speed set mods. Because right now you are very low, so you're one of those that can actually benefit quite a bit from farming from the mod challenges simply to try and get one particular set.
Yeah. So, all right. Let's see. Night Sisters look solid. Just need some characters of Gear 11. Kind of a theme here. Good job with that. Let's look at your troopers. They need some work. Not farming. You gotta get your Veers to 7 star. Death Trooper needs some love, but I understand if you haven't. I think you're done with what you need for Old Republic. Death Trooper needs to be worked on immediately, so that should be your next Cantina farm. He is that good of a character, so I would definitely start working on Death Trooper. At the moment, I look at the rest of your roster, but the other ones are done. They just need gear. Veers.
Yeah, for an 11-month roster, he's done a very good job of building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're trying to get you at the high level now. The other thing too also is stop with the fluff. We have to stop with the fluff.
Yeah, no more fluff.
Several characters below level 70 that have blue or purple or even some green gear. No more. We don't need those characters. They're not usable at level 65, at level 40. They're not used for anything. So if you want to take them to level 50 to hold mods, that's fine. Even that's not super necessary probably where you're at, because you're probably not reaching the max mod number. And so you don't even have to take characters above level 1 unless you're planning on taking them all the way to gear 11 or at least gear 10 for them to be usable at your GP.
Yeah.
So either you're going to level 85 gear 10 or leave them at gear 1, level 1, because you're adding a lot of extra GP to your roster that doesn't need to be there.
Agree. Other than that, we do not have JTR, so got the pieces on the resistance side. I want to look at the veterans, so let's go to Scoundrels. and see where we at there. Veterans. Where are they? Uh-oh.
I don't even see them unlocked.
Well, remember when I said let's do Death Trooper? Change that. Because you've got the other pieces done for JTR. We immediately need to start working on Veteran Han.
Well, he also doesn't have BB-8. I don't. What does he?
Yeah, he did. I thought I saw that.
Okay. So if he has BB-8, then yeah.
Yeah, they're all maxed out 7 stars, so he just needs the veterans. Why not go get the veterans to get JTR? You've already got the other pieces done.
Yeah, finish Old Republic though. Old Republic first.
His Old Republic are the pieces that are just hard nodes. So it has nothing to do with.
Oh yeah, his Cantina's done.
Yeah, so he can go right to the veterans. So your next 3 Cantina farms, you need to do the veterans at the same time. But Veteran Han, Veteran Chewie, and then Death Trooper. I think Cantina is covered for a while for your roster. But yeah, mission's done. T3's done. Yeah, he can start working on the veterans, so he can get JTR and Revan. I mean, that's a nice little pickup for your roster overall to get that. So, I think Night Sister we looked at already. Scoundrels we've looked at. Let's look at your Sith, Vader. Palpatine's 10. I mean, the Sith needs some work. We need to farm Nihilus and Scion. Now that you're just about ready done with your Old Republic, you can start rounding off your Sith with Scion and Nihilus. Add them into your nodes to farm. That's not a problem whatsoever. So we've got the veterans. We want to run out the Sith. So we've got some pieces here. I don't know where you're at with your Treya, but I mean, so
the 146 million GP guild. So I'm
assuming
you're going to be close. He should be close, I think, to unlocking.
Yeah, I think so. It is a fair guess that that's where he's at. So overall, you've done a really good job with your roster. We've got the pillars in place to get Revan. We've got to finish off the pillars in place to get JTR. Then you will have all. Well, I didn't see 3PO. Let's look at Rebels. I didn't even look at Rebels. Let's see here, Rebels.
I'm okay if he doesn't have 3PO.
Yeah,
he's a good character, right? But it requires Ewoks, and Ewoks are still
the last thing we
very much a late game. Now you do want to work on your Ewoks so you can get your Wicket. And
we want those. We want those Zetas.
Yeah, so I mean, you can start working on those, but you have other priorities before your Ewoks. Ewoks would be near the top, but it's not going to be your top because you still need to finish the Scoundrels, right? You need to start working a little bit on your Imperial Troopers. If you want to work on your Ewoks before the Imperial Troopers, I'm not necessarily opposed to that.
Yeah, you're just working on Death Troopers. I mean, his troopers are pretty much done. They just need gear. Varys needs to finish off, but he can do that no problem. And then, we got to get the veterans done before we do Death Trooper.
Well, keep in mind, the Ewoks need a lot of gear, too. That's what I'm saying.
They do, but if
he wants to work on the Ewoks, I'm okay with that over Imperial Troopers because there's a legendary character. You do get the extra Wicket shards as long as you can beat that event. And looking at his characters, it looks like he may be struggling on that since they're all level 48 and 43 and stuff. So gearing up his Ewoks can help him with that. They're still a fairly useful team when it comes to Grand Arena and Territory Wars. So I'm okay with working on your Ewoks before you finish Imperial Troopers, but the Scoundrels have to.
Ewoks can really chew through your gear reserves really quickly.
Yes,
they can.
Yes, they can.
Boy, but I think they're worth it.
They are, especially now that you get 3PO, and 3PO is really, really good. I thought he was decent, really good when he first came out. He's really good. That damn golden, he's really good. Especially on that Rebel team. It just makes that CLS.
I like how you don't see too many Ewoks with C-3PO. Like, he has all these synergies with Ewoks, but everyone's just throwing him on either the Rebel team or Finn lead with Rebels because of all the expos and stuff. It's insane.
It's insane. And I just don't think people don't have Ewoks to that level. They just did enough to get to 3PO, to unlock him. Maybe we will see once people get their Ewoks to higher gear and Zetas and stuff that maybe that could be a team moving forward, but everybody has all these other Rebels done, and it's so good. So I think that's a combination of both. Ewoks not quite being there for a lot of folks, and just so good on those other 2 teams you mentioned. Oh, so good. Other than that, you've done a really good job. We're right where we need to be. We're about to get Revan. If we get on the veterans immediately, we can get JTR when she comes back around. So those are 2 key components, and then you know, finish gearing these teams you've got to rounding up to gear 11. And I think you're fine. Stick with the mod plan that Finn mentioned for you. You've got pieces that you can use for Territory Wars and Grand Arena, but we need to finish them off to be effective in those things. So the more teams you round off to Gear 11 and have them done with the Zeta stuff, the more options you have in Territory Wars and Grand Arena. It's that simple. So if we can add JTR and Revan at your level, at your GP, holy buckets of butter. Oh, brother, you will be enjoying some Grand Arena and Territory Wars, let me tell you. I think that covers the main thing. Anything else we need to hit with that? For Jedi Master Anakin? Dr. Finn? Yes? No?
I think that's it. I'm just trying to check something in chat. I'm not sure if... I'm just double checking to see. I don't know if Jedi Master Anakin is in the chat, because I'm seeing some questions associated with this. So I just want to go ahead and ask it, because one of the questions Nick Merck asks is, which Ewok do you drop for C-3PO with the Ewok that he has? And the one, what I would say is that you can work. I mean, ideally, once you get them all kind of geared up, they can beat the C-3PO event, but it is a lot of gear, like Grim was saying. And so the better Ewoks usually will be the ones that you want to get. So it's Chirpa, Elder, Wicket, Logray, Paplu. Those would be the 5 that you would want to try and aim for. Mm-hmm. The other thing is your gear and stuff right now is a little bit behind anyways. And in order to just prepare for the Wicket event, just start working on those 5 and gearing those up. Don't bother putting gear on Ewok Scout. Don't bother putting gear on Tebow. All of that would go to waste. And start building up your Chirpa team with the Elder, Wicket, Logray, Paplu, and then you can start working on the Wicket event to try and get more Wicket shards that way. I think that will be your better course of action as you start preparing for it.
And farm speed mods.
Yeah. Now that was another thing that I saw also.
Speed mods.
Yeah. The other thing I saw was some people are saying you farm all the speed mods and you don't get a lot of good speed mods, right? And you are correct. If you're looking for the really, really high-end speed mods, then the challenges are going to be a much worse way for you to get it. You're much better off waiting and collecting resources and waiting for something to show up in the mod store if you're planning on going that route. But if we look at Jedi Master Anakin's mods in particular, his speed secondaries on his mods are all single digit pretty much. He has a total of 8 double digit speed secondaries, and everything else is single digit. 9, 8, 8, and then it goes down to 6. And then he has a handful of 5s. Right? So you can easily get better mods than what you currently have by farming. It may get you only 10 or 11 speeds as your secondary stat, but that is better than what you're currently running. And so, again, it depends on your situation as to whether or not mod challenges are the way for you to farm or not. And just because of where Jedi Master Anakin's mods are, basically that's the only real hole in his mods. We have to work on putting the mods on the right characters and that kind of stuff and not going up to 6E. But if we look at his other secondaries, he has fairly reasonable secondaries on his non-speed set. So you could get some pretty decent sets going for him. But without the speed set, you're losing out on 10%. And so getting more speed is going to be something that he has to work on, and getting more speed set works for his roster. Now, it may not be for everybody, but it is because of his particular situation that we would recommend doing speed challenges. And maybe not, I'm not saying forever, but maybe try to farm enough mods that you have at least 1 page on GG with speed secondaries above 5. Right now you're ending quite early on that. So stuff like that, right? Just simple things you can do in order just to give your roster a boost before you start specializing for those really, really high-end speeds.
I like it. All right. And if you have any questions, you know where to find us. We'll be more than glad to answer your questions for your roster review. And if you would like a roster review, all you need to do is send your GG page to Dr. Finn Medicine Woman, and he will add you to the queue, and we will do your roster review when it comes around. Make sure he does
just
respond.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say, make sure Finn responds because he's a slacker.
That's right.
Stupid slacking Finn. But yeah, overall good roster reviews today. Good job, guys. So that is that. All right, now we get to the big meat and potatoes of things. We get to we're going to do some questions. We get Lady Farquaad here. She wants to help answer some questions. Be kind of cool. All right.
All my extensive knowledge.
Well, you know, it's all it. You know, we all have our opinions and things. And, you know, important. All right, let's get to some questions.
Let's start with a softball. This is a question for Infinity. This is just between us. How do you feel about Hideous?
What do you mean?
Me?
Yeah, it's a question for Farquhar.
I,
We'll throw it
I
from-
love Hideous. He's one of my favorites. I'm even in a guild with him now, and I very much enjoy it.
See? It was a softball question. You lied, but that's okay. All right, let's get to the...
Not
You
lie.
lie!
All right. First question
Jesus,
from John
Finn.
Davies.
Finn's just like, nope, you lied.
First question, John Davies question. Just unlocked Hermit Yoda. Can I use him in Arena, or should I wait until he's 7-star?
He's viable at unlock if you can get him to gear level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The only thing is, be careful. Anytime you run anything non-7-star, you can be targeted, so you may fall, but it'll work on offense.
There you go.
Tilo Mad 92 question: how do you mod General Kenobi? I know some people put speed set while others make him more tanky. If tanky, how would you mod him? Defense or health mods? How do you have your Kenobi modded, Miss Farquhar?
How do I have my Kenobi? My Kenobi has been very neglected. He was actually like year 1, level 1. No, I took him to 50 to store mods. I just started gearing him several weeks ago. I think he's like gear 8 now. But I have defense on him.
No, that's good.
Yeah, I did not good there. But I'm a little late, but I'm working on it, so
Right.
Yeah,
that's what matters.
And we mentioned this before. How to mod him depends largely on the type of team that you're trying to put together. If you need Kenobi to taunt and hold his taunt longer, then obviously you're not going to make him fast. For teams that you want him to go fast, then you'll make him speed, right? So one example of a team where he might be a little bit better faster would be where he's in the lead and you're doing like you're trying to do his lead the charge as many times as possible to get increased attacks by everybody on the team. And so in that situation, you might want to build Kenobi a little bit more fast and then still tanky, but obviously a little bit more fast. But if you're putting him on a team, let's say a Bastila team, you can actually get away with making him slow and very, very tanky because once he taunts, he's just going to try and hold that damage and everybody else has protection up. So it's not a huge deal if he somehow manages to lose it. Plus you get dispels going on with Hermit Yoda. I mean, there's ways around it. And so the team composition highly determines how you want to use your Kenobi. And so if you're going to make him tanky, defense mods work really well on him. And then you can use health as your secondaries and primaries. Health mods work as well. But defense is always nice to just reduce the overall damage, depending especially on if you can get a crit avoidance arrow on him. So then he's not crit. So if you get like a 42% crit avoidance arrow on him, so he's not being crit, and now he's reducing damage from defense, like he becomes very difficult to kill. So you can mod him kind of however, it just depends on your team lineup.
I agree. Like for me, I use him under Bastila, so I mod him for protection because that's, you know, her thing is she gives him a crap load of extra protection based off of his base protection. So
All
right. Next question from Chewy. Question: what are the focuses to use Fallen Bastila on a Sith team mod-wise? And what should the team comp and attack order look like? I don't know what team you're putting together. I'm assuming you are talking about the Treya lead Sith used to go against Revan. If you're talking about that, her main thing is her unique. She does not need the Zeta. Put that out there right now. She does not need any Zeta. But what you do is you just have her to be... You can make her fast, but making sure she survives is also the more important thing. So you want her to be fairly tanky and being able to take a hit. And then you can also make her a little bit fast to try and get those shocks and the stuns potentially out with her specials. But her main thing is her unique, the Sith Apprentice one, where she adds defense to whoever's in the leader slot. So that means Treya does not need to be fast. Treya actually needs a whole lot of protection. Not health, but protection. Because if you're fighting Revan, Revan reduces health based on percentages. And so increasing health really doesn't do as much. So you load up Treya with crazy amounts of protection. You make Bastila tanky. And again, for the same reason you can make her tanky with protection, because it increases the protection gives you better percentages than health. So when you can, you want to try and use protection if you're trying to boost that initial damage hit and reduce that. So Batfall and Bastila can use protection. In terms of speed-wise, if you are using, let's say, Scion and Nihilus as two of your other ones, then both of them will need to be fast. But Nihilus will actually probably end up being faster than Scion, despite what the speed will show, because if you're fighting a Revan team, they target Treya, Treya gets debuffed, Nihilus gains turn meter, and so it kind of just ends up that Nihilus will be faster. And so your other character can either be Emperor Palpatine, that takes advantage of all of these extra turns, who will also need to be tanky, or you can go something like a Sith Trooper if you want another tank, or you can go an Enfys, or you can go a Thrawn. And Thrawn seems to be the best one because you can get a fracture, and you can turn meter swap with Nihilus and make Thrawn one speed slower than Scion. So Scion can do the AoE Dispel, then Thrawn goes, Thrawn turn meter swapped with Nihilus, and then Nihilus does a Force Strain on everyone that now has debuffs, because Scion was a character to effectively use an ability against the opponent before. So if you're looking for turn order, Nihilus can be whatever held speed you want. The faster, the better, pretty much, though. Then Scion, then Thrawn, basically one speed slower than Scion. And then Treya and Bastila, you want to be tanky. Anything else anyone wants to add to that?
No, I think you're right on.
I don't know. I like having her super speedy because every time she goes, she puts the anti-counter, stuff on the opposing team, and being able to stun somebody right off the bat with her is really nice.
Yes. Yeah, you can definitely make her fast too. The only caution is most people don't have her at 7-star, so she can still be kind of squishy. I've seen several
she's
that
very
will die.
squishy when she's not at 7-star.
Yeah. So she can die to like the Yoda AoEs if he gets a few of those off. So you have to be careful not to make her too fast and then super squishy. She has to be able to take a couple of next one from Darth Teflon. Question: just unlocked Treya. What are the best mods for her?
Ooh, congratulations.
Nice.
Yeah. I think we just mentioned a little bit. If you're fighting, if you're
about that.
Yeah, if you're going against Revans, then she needs high levels of protection. Whatever you can max out on protection. If you're not worried about Revans, then you can make her fast. Fast with a lot of offense is what you want to use her for everything except Revan. Revan kind of changes the equation for her. Moss Mike, question: which unique Zeta is better for their faction, Bosk or Crew? Let's start with Farquhar. What do you think? Which is a better Zeta for their faction, on their uniques, Bosk or Crew?
Uniques, I don't have either of them. I do. The only Zeta I have on either of them is Bosk's lead.
All right, there you go.
Was it their uniques?
Farquhar doesn't care for either of them.
That's not what she said, Fang.
Well, my Zetas are... I'm a newish player, so... Well, I don't know. I don't have a ton of Zetas to be thrown around.
Yeah.
Well, they're both really good Zetas.
I think I'd do the Bosk one, because I don't know. I really like bounty hunters. They're fun. And I don't know. going against the double Zeta Bosk in territory wars and in Grand Arena sucks.
Mm-hmm.
They're annoying.
So that's actually what I was gonna say, which is Bosk and Cruz unique are both good Zetas. I like Cruz better because of what Farquhar just said, which is that Bosk, when you're using your bounty hunters on offense, you're usually going to be focus firing something, and running through someone's protection is fairly easy. And Bosk's Zeta is based on whether or not the lowest or the weakest target still has protection as to whether or not he regains his taunt. And so on offense, you can easily have the Zeta and still not have him retaunt because enough damage is being dealt to a single target that their protection is gone. On defense, though, the bounty hunters don't really focus fire. They fire all over the place. And so having the weakest target with protection is definitely much, much easier to come across. And so the way that you're using the team really is what's dependent upon which Zeta is better. If you're putting Bosk and bounty hunters on defense like everywhere, then his Zeta is probably better than Crew. But Cruz is useful both on defense and offense, so I would do Crew first because it has more utility. But both of them are pretty good. And then obviously there's the ship component of both. If you have TIE Silencer and if you have Houndstooth, and so that can help also.
I don't know. Personally, I like Cruz better.
Mm-hmm.
You know, simply like teaming up with Executioner. It's just stupid when he just keeps on going and going and going and going.
All right.
My first order are sad. I got BB-8 and then just kind of threw them by the wayside.
No, you got BB-8.
Don't worry, they'll be coming back here with the next movie.
Yeah, not this territory war though, because 2 of them are banned. But then you can maybe worry about it.
Well, they might not come back for territory wars after that if
That's true.
they decide
We don't know
to
what
keep
they're
this
planning on
banning.
banning.
So
Once I'm done working on some Jedi, I am gear hoarding for Revan.
That's right.
clever girl.
All right. Next question. The Taco King 2 question. Go all in on a 5-star Traya to gear 11 or save for Revan. Jedi are not geared.
Oh, if your Jedi are not geared, just go for Traya, man.
Mm-hmm.
Go for the sure thing first.
Hopefully your Sith are geared if you're asking this.
Oh, yeah. If your Sith aren't geared, then well.
If your Sith aren't geared, then just save all your gear and see when they announce Revan, I guess. But yeah.
Still, though, get your KOTOR done first.
Yeah.
So you can get Revan.
All right. Next question, I think, is for Ranger.
Oh.
Question is from Moss Mike. And his question is, how about them Cowboys? Asking for friends.
Yeah. It was a tough game. It was a tough game. They lost 30-22, but...
It was worse than that most of the game, though.
It was, but I don't know what the hell happened to
They
the
couldn't get
defense.
anything going on. Like they couldn't get anything going with the running game.
No.
Elliott was stunted like the entire game.
I know, but
Wasn't their longest run like 6 yards or something the entire game?
yeah, it
An
was.
average of 2.
Yeah, it wasn't their offense. I mean, the offense was in a position to where they could have tied the game. I wasn't worried about their offense. Yeah, as Elliott wasn't, but they were throwing the ball all over the place. It was their defense, man, that got gouged for over 200 yards. That was like, oh my God, what happened? I was not expecting nor planning for that to happen. I blame you, Finn.
Yeah. No, I'm okay with that. All right. Next question, the Axeman question. How can I mod Nihilus and Scion with Traya lead so that Scion goes before Nihilus due to massive turn meter gain? Nihilus gains debuffs and flex time. Oh, yeah, we were just talking about that. You don't mod Nihilus to go after Scion. You mod Thrawn to go after Scion and then turn meter swap. There's too much RNG with Nihilus, and trying to slow him down is going to hurt your overall build of Nihilus. So, yeah. Don't bother trying to re-mod Nihilus. Mod Scion to be your fastest, then mod Nihilus with whatever speed, but make sure that Thrawn is 1 speed slower than Scion. There you go.
Science.
Next question, TiloMad92 question: what is the minimum speed to have on Grandmaster Yoda when putting him on offense? Is there a good point on speed you don't want to go below or go crazy on offense?
I tend to have him decked out with speed, because the faster you can get them given out that master's training, the more you have your entire team attacking one target. It's
also different when you have Revan, though. So I'm going to assume if he's talking about Bastila, then yes, what Grim said is right. You want to have him maxed out on speed. When we're talking about not having him with speed and going with more offense and stuff, you can do that. If you're doing it with the Bastila team, then you probably don't want to drop below about 80 speed, because you don't. Yeah, 80 speed is probably what you're looking at with that. But if you're doing a Revan lead, you can actually drop him to maybe about 70, 65 to 70 plus speed from his secondaries and all of that, and be in a good position with him on a Revan team. So it depends on what team you're running and how you're using him. But getting him to hit harder really makes a difference. But he gains so much freaking turn meter that the speed kind of starts negating itself over time.
All right.
Next question, Chewy question. Getting all the random mods in the events, how do you decide which to roll and which to sell? I roll everything pretty much, but not always to max. So all the mods I always roll to see what all 4 stats are. So if it's a gray, I'll take it to 12. If it's a green, I'll take it to 6. A blue to green to 9. A blue to 6. A purple to 3. And then I see if there's any stats that I like on it. And a lot of that depends on the set and that kind of stuff. So if I have a health set, right? So for everything, I'm looking for offense secondary, flat offense secondary, and I'm looking for speed secondary, and potentially I'm looking for offense percentage secondary. So those 3 I'm looking at for all of my different mods. The other thing I'll look for is if it's a health set, I'm looking to see whether or not there's a health primary, or a flat stat health and a percentage health on it. If it's something that's a potency set, I'll look for a potency secondary. In case I'm trying to build something for a very high potency set, that's what I'm going to do. Crit chance, I'll be looking for crit chance, that kind of stuff. The other thing is also based on the primary stat. So if I have, let's say, a tenacity cross with a health primary, if I can get a flat health secondary, I'll roll that one up to see if I can get the maximum hits on that as well. So maximum hits, again, is a purple 4, blue 3, green 2, and then the gray is obviously just going to be 1 because you don't get any bonuses. And so typically I'm looking for matching with sets and secondaries, and sometimes with matching with adjacent secondaries, in order to figure out whether or not they're mods I want to keep or get rid of. And then if they don't have anything that I feel like I'm going to need, or the roles got distributed too much and I don't see a benefit for me to keep it, then I get rid of them. But it's because I have mods that are better. And so you may not want to get rid of a +8 speed because that may be like one of the top mods that you have. For me, I have a bunch of double-digit speed secondaries, so +8 kind of gets thrown by the wayside. So depends also on where your roster is, how you decide what you want to keep, what you want to get rid of. You do want to make sure you have a good stock of mods of all different types, not just speed, not just offense, because they've been introducing ways that other mods can become useful. More crit chance, more potency, more tenacity. Mm-hmm. They've started to introduce more and more ways that all of this stuff can be utilized in game. So I would not start throwing out or selling mods unless you are maxed out, because there is pretty much a use for a lot of these mods now, more so than before. And I would also venture to guess at this point, with the new mythic raids that are coming out at some point, they're probably going to redesign them so like you can't solo Rancor with turn meter removal and stuff like that. And you will probably need some of these other sets in order to work through the different phases. So I would be hesitant to sell anything at this point. But those would be some of the conditions that if you are maxed out, how I decide whether or not to sell. The roles, the matching with the set, the matching with the other secondaries, what I'm low on, that kind of stuff.
There you go.
Next question, Chewy question. Give the new legendary tunes and ships. What do you believe the pillars to be currently?
For ships?
For ships?
Well, for everything. For all legendary, right? So there's legendary tunes and there's legendary ships. So what would you say are the pillars that people need to build?
Easy, the 4 bounty hunter ships.
Well,
Revan and everything
They're
else.
gonna be required for the legendary Millennium Falcon. There's
But we
one.
don't know if that's any
But
good.
2 of them are on hard nodes, so
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
the
Revan
fun-
and everything else.
Yeah, Revan,
There's
and
like
then
kind of one giant pillar.
yeah, Revan.
I would still start with Phoenix, I think.
Yeah.
And then go to Revan.
Yeah, you could do both actually at the same time. You can start with your Phoenix because they're farmed mostly from the stores. Start farming
Yeah,
the
they
Old
don't-
Republic characters.
They don't compete with each other.
No, and you can start
Besides
farming.
the Cantina.
Absolutely, and then start with those two because that'll give you Thrawn, Palpatine. That'll give you 4 Jedi that you can use to start heading toward Yoda, and then
First Order would be probably the second, so you can start working towards BB-8 and Jedi
Yeah.
Training Rey, and then finish off your like a couple more Empires, so you can get R2 because
Yeah.
you're with Phoenix, you're already getting Palpatine and Thrawn. So then a few more Empire, then you'll be able to get R2, and then you can start working towards CLS.
yeah,
The ships won't even start until level 60.
right.
So, I mean, you have time before putting ships on any kind of pillar, but obviously bounty hunter ships would be something that you want to work on, and then working on your what is it? It's the dark side ships, right? It's the rebel ships. It's the rebel ships that you need in order to.
Oh, for the home one Chimera challenge,
for home
yeah.
one in order to
it's
get
Rebels.
Chimera, but you need the dark
you
side
need the
ships
dark
in
side
order to
ships
get
for your
executrix for the
Zetas.
Zetas. I mean, you can farm so many ships at once. I think I would go with dark side first to work on your Zeta challenges to make sure you can get executrix going before working on Chimera. Chimera is really good, but you can do stuff now with executrix
Well,
if you have the right ship lineup.
Farm the bounty hunter ships because there's 4 dark side ships for the executrix challenge right there, and that'll also work for the Millennium Falcon.
Yep.
But I would wait until after Revan with the hard node farming
Yes.
Mhm.
to start the.
Yeah.
Yep. All ships come secondary. Revan first. Revan is like the one giant pillar, and then everything else.
Okay, then just Slave 1 and well, Houndstooth is on a
Hard node,
hard node, but Slave 1 is
not.
fleet shipments.
So Nick Merck is saying that Warriors pillars, like he started a new account, right? Yeah. So I know he started Scissorman, and he went for Veers right away. Veers is a really good character. 1, his node gives good gear. 2, he's an Empire, and remember that we said you want to work to get 3 other Empires. So once you get Thrawn and Palpatine, you'd have enough to get R2. So going for Veers there is pretty worthwhile. Plus 3, Veers has so many ways of getting his nodes that he can be the first character that you can get to 7-star.
Well, and he also has a bounty hunter ship on one of his. Nodes.
Yeah. Yep, that's why his node is so awesome. It has gear and bounty hunter.
No, it's B20. It's a Sith ship. It's
it's
B28.
No, well,
Yeah,
it's still a
they
dark side
changed
for
it.
executive.
It's the
thought
only
it was-
node I'm farming.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's B28.
Well, at least you're
bomber.
getting a good ship with it too, so a good dark side ship.
You're getting a dark side ship, so I mean, all of that works out well. So he is one of the easiest characters to get to 7-star because of how many different ways you can get Veer and the quality of the nodes that he's on. So it does not surprise me that Veers is one of the first characters you can start farming. But you don't necessarily need to focus on all the troopers. You're focusing on just Veers as one of the Empire and a 7-star with a good node, and you can kind of go from there. But still, Revan first focus with Phoenix. Phoenix first, get Emperor Palpatine and Thrawn, then start working on your Old Republic. Use Emperor Palpatine and Thrawn with a few more Empire in order to get R2, and then you can start working towards Jedi Training Rey and CLS.
There you go.
So yeah, there you go.
Man.
Next question, Doja-san question: could the Kira Scoundrel team be equally effective with a Django lead and more speed?
Yes, it
Mhm.
can. I've run that one several dozen times.
With Enfys though.
You can run it without Emphas. She's not needed.
Oh.
I mean, because usually emphasis is more important, like with Night Sisters and stuff on other teams. But I've run it with what was the one I was running? Django lead, Vandor, L337, Young Lando, and who was the other one?
Zalbar?
Zalbar, yeah.
Yeah, they all work under Django. More speed, so it definitely can work. Chewy question: wouldn't the Ewoks get the expose? I think he's talking about when we were talking about C-3PO, and the answer is yes. They all get a chance for it.
I just wish they benefited more from expose.
Yeah. I mean, they attack in like so many multiples that it could be, but people are just using it with the rebels instead of the Ewoks. It's not that the Ewoks don't get a benefit; it's just that people aren't using them with the Ewoks really all that much. It's very far and few in between if they are. Yeah, it's not that it's bad; it's just nobody's doing it. Darth Tallywhack, my knacker question: who is in the Ewok C-3PO squad? So the easiest one to run, assuming you have like all of them geared and everything, is Chirpa lead, Wicket, Paplu, Logray, and Ewok Elder. That's the easiest one to run in that C-3PO. But obviously, if you don't have some of them, then you make substitutions, a little bit more RNG here and there, but that's the easiest one to beat the event.
Word.
Contingent 33 question: I unlocked Treya 2 raids ago. At what point does she take over a 7-star Gear 12 EP lead?
5-star.
Right away.
Once you get her to Gear 11?
Yeah.
With Zetas?
Yeah.
2 Zetas, Gear 11, she's ready to go.
Well, you don't need her to have both Zetas. Just get her leadership Zeta and Gear 11.
I would not put her in without her unique Zeta.
Yeah.
I did it. And
because then you can stun. Then you can stun the team. Without her unique and without dispelling, you can easily stop a Treya team. I've seen them fail miserably. you don't want to go in without both Zetas, I think.
Agree.
It's a question for me, but I think the question is for you, Farquhar. The question is from Darth Hideous. It's a question for Fiddy. Shut up, Finn.
Well, FUDH.
Look at all hideous. Okay. Next question. We'll let you theory craft a little bit here, Miss Farquhar. Question from Rampage. Question: do you guys think we'll be getting a new raid this year? And if so, what will be the character we get?
I have no idea. I'm not good at theory crafting. I don't know. Slave Leia.
I like
that really is not a good guess. Yeah, they basically refused to do anything with Slave Leia.
Well, that's just stupid.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. They've like officially, I think, retired Slave Leia from anything Star Wars anymore.
Oh, that's disappointing. They did one in Force Collection where she had a chain attack. She pretty much used the chain that was wrapped around her neck to whip an entire line of characters and kill them all.
Does that mean that the odds of Rey being chained up and forced to wear some sort of bikini odds have increased dramatically?
That's not going to happen.
Since they announced.
No, that's not happening. That's not happening. Stop it, Michael.
I don't think we're getting a new raid. I think that's what the mythics are. Adding a 4th raid to our list becomes very tricky, because if you look at the way we've progressed, right? Rancor was 60,000, AAT is 90,000, Sith raid is now 110,000. Any other raid that gets added, if they continue that progression, will now be probably over 120,000, which means that every time the raid is maxed out, that it doesn't even have to be maxed out. You have to do it on a particular day. It provides no flexibility for guilds. So I don't think that we will be seeing any new raids. I think they will be adding kind of like what's been data mined and that kind of stuff, which is a new level to the existing raids and probably a redo of the cost for the other raids, like the other levels of the raids, so that it may be a little bit cheaper. So that we might still see a 60,000 Rancor raid, but now it's set for a much higher level with new abilities on the Rancor, stuff like that. And reward-wise, I hope they continue to give us what was there with the previous Rancor and then add guild event tokens, and then add a new character in guild event tokens instead in order to allow us to farm it.
Aha.
Unless the Millennium Falcon is the beginning of them giving us more ships, and then a ship raid could be in order at 60K.
Well, we don't have enough for a full ship raid yet. We only have 5 teams. I don't think 5 teams are enough. Like, that's enough just for like a full roster clear of a like a normal one. You know, the ones where you only get 5 attacks a day, you would be expending your entire roster for it. There may be a phase of a raid that has ships. I think that would be pretty cool. I think that's probably coming at some point. I don't think we're going to get a full raid, though, of just ships. So, I mean, it would be cool if we, like, invade the Death Star first using ships, and then we go inside, and then we have to blow us something else up. But
like old school Battlefront, you know, you take on a Star Destroyer, and you have to do ships first, then you land, and then you do ground battles.
Exactly. That may be the direction that they're going. That would be pretty cool. I don't think they're ready yet for a full ship raid. It would be too weirdly set up with only 5 teams difficulty. All right. Let's see. Next question is from JLY9. Question: is it better to use a protection arrow for a tanky Treya or a crit avoidance arrow when trying to survive Revan?
I just let her die so I can kill the team. So I have a buttload of protection on mine, and it's just how long she can last and keep them busy off that first Darth Revan, hit. And then I fracture Revan, and then I'm burning the team. I'm letting them just kill themselves. My trade is going to go down, but I'm taking their team pretty much the other 4 Sith. And keeping Revan fractures key, because then it allows my Annihilus to go annihilating and having fun. So,
I'm checking mine because I was switching around for a while. I believe I settled on a crit avoidance arrow, but I'm checking right now to see.
That's how I play it now. Because even with all the crazy protection stuff I've got on my Treya, it's more about like, okay, she's going to die, but if I can keep them busy long enough, which it does, and fracture Revan with Thrawn, that I can easily start really laying pain to them with my other characters, because they're fixated on Treya, and she's going to go down eventually, but keeping control of Revan is the key, where he's not doing it again, and I'm allowing my other Sith to just do what they do. And with Palpatine in there, they're just slowly whittling themselves away to where it's like, aha, got you.
It's a good idea, Ranger. Why fight the inevitable when you can let them kill themselves?
Right, I just make it last as long as possible, because she's going to go down. You cannot prevent it, so I just do that, and then focus on controlling, hits with Yoda. It's really, they're all going to keep killing your Treya. There's nothing you can do about it. So why not let them? In the meantime, you're doing all kinds of crazy stuff to them. They're willing their health and protection because of Palpatine being in there. That's mainly my focus, and then it makes it easier just to get rid of them. And that's how I'm beating the Treya teams now. Or I mean the Revan teams now.
All right. Let's see. Mine is crit avoidance right now. That's succeed. Let's see. Nathaniel Morgan question: can we replace Finity with Farquhar? Yes.
What happened now?
Nathaniel Morgan wants to replace me with Farquhar on the lunch stream. So Farquhar,
Lady Farquhar is now taking the place of Finn.
Yes.
Way smarter though.
Mm-hmm.
That's lies. Hellenix question: on Saturday Jedi Academy, I had asked a question I was hoping would be held off to the end of the show, but I didn't type that part of the request, so my apologies. I blame Finn. What question is he talking about?
He had one of his long statements. It was more of like he was pimping his stuff and everything, and I got to the last part of the multiple question thing, and it says, "Oh, can you read this at the end?" I'm like, "Oh, for God's sakes,
Oh yeah, yeah. Hellenix does that.
Yeah.
All right. Daniel McCarthy question: how can I encourage my guild to use Discord more?
Threaten them.
Whips and chains.
No, that doesn't
Well,
work.
I mean, in theory, Grim isn't wrong. It is punishment.
What? Wait a minute.
I mean, if you're trying to get your guild to be serious and use Discord and stuff, I mean, punishment is really the only way. I know some...
just have an NSFW channel on there.
Oh god!
And keep talking about it in game chat. They will
with
flop.
corn.
They will flop.
Oh my god!
That's the way you do it. I'm sorry.
I mean that.
How?
Technically wrong, but you manage that as you want with your guild. But really, it has to be either okay, punishment or incentive to join on the server. So if you want to make porn the incentive for them to get on the Discord, I suppose. Otherwise, and please make sure your guild is above 18 before doing such things. But the other thing is you can get them to, like, if you're really trying to get serious with your guild, a lot of guilds have said either get on Discord or we're going to remove you and find people that are going to be more active on Discord, because a lot of these things do require coordination. And so you basically threaten removal or something like that for not being on Discord. So if it again depends on the direction of your guild. You need to be in a guild that's in the same mindset as you. So if you're looking for a guild that's more active and on Discord and all that kind of stuff, then maybe it's a discussion to have with your guild to see if they are of the same mindset and that kind of stuff.
Well, like for me, I tried getting my original guild into Discord and they kept on refusing to do it. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to find a guild that does use Discord. And I'm glad I did.
the tools alone, surely. I mean, you just do, what is it? TW rank me or whatever it is. And there's tools on there that give you every stat on your opponent. I mean, that alone, surely.
Yeah, the bots and stuff. I mean, there's a lot of benefits to being on Discord.
And the community is great.
Guild. So just so Ouchie doesn't kill me, you can also use
Line.
Line is not a bad resource. You can also use Line. I hope I said that correct, Ouchie. Okay, so if you want to get them on Discord, then, I mean, it has to be a guild decision to move in that direction, because it does make you a little bit more of a serious guild. Doesn't mean you have to be like hardcore and still not have like that casualness to it, but it just depends on the direction of your guild. Next one, Verga Grande Chingon question. What are the top 10 Jedi to take to Gear 12 for the Jedi Master Quest? I am on that one myself.
I am not, but I'll pull up my Jedi and we can talk about it.
I mean, so one of them, depending on where you are, can be Revan, Grandmaster Yoda, then General Kenobi, Jolie, Bastila. You can take Old Ben to Gear 12. You can take Ezra to Gear 12. And then afterwards, it's just kind of whichever ones you want. You can take Zaris if you want. You can take Ayla. You can take Mace if you're going to be using him in Fleet.
Yeah.
You can take him to Gear 12. Jedi Knight Anakin also has a ship.
I was just getting ready to say Anakin would work really well too.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch that you can take to Gear 12 that are fairly decent. But yeah, Hermit Yoda, Bastila, Barriss, General Kenobi, Old Ben, Jolie, Anakin, Grandmaster Yoda, Ezra, and Revan. I think that makes 10.
Yeah.
So those would be the 10 that I would say.
And if you don't want to do Old Ben, Plo Koon's another good one with his ship and stuff.
Yep,
so.
He has a ship too.
So, I've seen.
And maybe one day in the future we'll be able to add Mace to that lineup too.
Ahsoka's another good one because of her ship, and it's really, really good in combination with Anakin's ship. So.
Or Mace. There we go. We added him to the list.
Yeah, Mace.
His capital ship is amazing, but his character sucks.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, that's right.
Please. That's one character that shouldn't suck in this game. Right, Ranger? He should be the most badass Jedi in the game next to Revan.
Revan's not a Jedi. Okay. Nick Merck, question. What gray mods are worth leveling to look at secondaries? All of them to Gear 12.
Yeah. Take a look. See what you get.
Right side.
Yeah, definitely
You
the right
only do the
side.
right side.
Triangle,
You don't do
cross.
anything left.
No, but I'm saying if you don't want to,
Prioritize.
yeah, if you're prioritizing right side are the ones that you can get the offense and the crit damage and the crit chance and crit avoidance and
So
that.
So the arrow,
You've got the
triangle, and
options.
cross.
yeah,
Yeah.
because you know that you're getting something.
Just on a percentage sort of thing. That those are the ones that you really looking for.
Yeah. I'm also gonna she's been getting a lot of hate lately, so I feel bad. But I'm going to agree with T Money here, with the gray mods. So one thing to kind of keep in mind, slicing up gray mods can be fairly decent because it's easy to do just a few slices and realize whether or not a mod is trash. And getting from a gray to a green is not terribly expensive. But here's the thing. You need to be in a position where you are working on gray mods. Not everybody should be going straight to gray mods. That isn't what this is saying. You should start out, again, your path that you're looking for to get the god mods is to get to a gold 5. Each level reduces that number in parentheses by 1 as to what the max is. So at gold, the maximum is a 5. At purple, the maximum is a 4. At blue, the maximum is a 3. At green, it's 2. And at gray, it's 1. And everything is a 1 at gray. So that's why it's like it's a mod that is just sitting with pure potential. Like there's no reason to get rid of it because it is a solid potential mod. But you're looking at ones that have already evolved a little bit, so you don't have to spend as many resources to get it all the way up to a potential gold 5. So the gray mods that have like a speed secondary or that are showing offense, like flat offense secondary, just save them. That doesn't mean you need to slice them up now. But if you get to the point where you've sliced up all of your purples and your blues and your greens, it's like, okay, instead of just buying mods all the time and waiting for something to show up in the mod store or farming stuff from the mod challenges and getting all these random crap and stuff, let me see if this gray mod will hit the speed when I take it up to a green. Well, if it doesn't hit it, you can get rid of it. If it hits it, oh, look, now you have a green too. Let's see if it gets a blue. If it hits on the blue, then yay. If it doesn't, you can sell it. I mean, it's not that much in the long run compared to, and we had this discussion before, how often do you guys get anything good in mod challenges? Like it really is for those that are trying to build a whole hefty amount of a single set. You're not going to really get those high-end mods very frequently, if ever, from the mod challenges. So it's always easier to just save those gray mods for when you get to that point. And eventually you will get to that point if you're consistently slicing up only your good mods and not just slicing up anything. If you slice up your good mods, then you're better off saving those grays and then slicing them up because it's not too expensive to see if they hit on a green before you decide whether or not you're going to keep it. So gray mods, still definitely worth it. Level them up to 12. See what your stats are that you're showing, and then you can decide whether or not you want to sell and whatnot. And then again, like Mike said, right side is always a good thing because you can always get a crit damage triangle or an offense cross or something like that, all of which is good regardless of what the secondary stats are because you run out of those pretty quick. Ziglet question, when do you 6E a mod?
When you have a large selection of gear 12s that you can put it on. Mm-hmm. If you only have like 10 gear 12 characters, it's probably not a good idea to 6E mods.
I have 3.
I mean, unless you don't plan on using, moving them at all.
Yeah, I have 3 6E mods, but they're all on Thrawn. And 2 of them I did before I knew what I was doing. And I got really lucky on one because I think it's like a 26 speed secondary, but it's my best mod.
But it's on a crew member. That's what I was gonna add in. That's really that's where you're gonna get a potential noticeable difference. I was wondering why their throng was always faster than mine, and then I had a look and it's like, okay.
Yep.
There's 6 extra speed.
Yeah.
Don't you need like 4 6E mods or something on Thrawn for it to make a difference, or is it just?
So I think we figured this out. It's every 3 on a regular ship, adds 1 speed, and every 2 on a capital ship adds 1.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, so ships is definitely one area where you may want to, but you want to make sure you're not slicing up your non-highest end mods. Like if you're just slicing up any mod to try and get a 6E for the purposes of getting the fleet stats, like you're probably not doing it right. So wait to see which ones you're doing. Okay, we'll run through this last group of questions. Andrew Sweeney question: started an alt a long time ago, but quit, and it isn't worth playing anymore. But like to start an alt again. Any idea how to start a new account on a device that already has one?
Have to create a new email. That's all, right?
Yeah, you need a new like Game Center or a new Google Play account or something like that, and then you just attach the account to that.
Yeah.
If it's Apple, you can just put a dot somewhere in your existing email.
Yeah.
That's quite handy.
Yeah. So there's a few different ways, but essentially you just have to tie it to a new account.
Yeah.
And then you can. Doja-san question: if they add a new raid, wouldn't it make sense to get tickets from Fleet and Mod Energy so that there's a 600 and a 300 or 200 from other energy sources? No, because then you would also be forcing more crystal usage in the other areas, and that can throw off the entire economy. I don't think that would be a good idea. I think they're better off just adding new tiers to the current one, or reducing the cost of this one if they want to add a new raid.
I'd suggest possibly just upping the amount rather than 600 to say 800, and actually allowing us to use this energy, because we don't get anything for the ship
they
stuff.
mentioned that they don't want to do that because that also throws off their counter.
Yeah.
Like
That's true.
any change from 600 to something else changes the way that things are done on the back end. So they have been hesitant to do it. Now that isn't to say they haven't looked into it and then found that they can do it or whatnot. But previously they've said, yeah, we're not planning on using this.
I seriously doubt they're going to change the 600 thing, because, like, man, they just fixed it and it's already broken again, and they're trying to fix it again.
Yeah.
So all it has been is problems for them.
It's broken again?
Yeah. 600 has been somewhat broken lately.
Oh.
So if we can't count to 600, we shouldn't bother counting to 800. There's 200 more. Jacob F. question: how to best mod crew?
Defense.
Health and speed.
Yeah.
Make him lots of health and then give him speed.
I do speed and crit chance.
I did speed health, but let me kind of look at the mods here I have.
Yeah, I like my 70k.
I
70k
went
health
speed
crew.
like a mother. With crit chance, because I want him getting turned.
Kaze Kage too easy. Question: line or Discord?
Yes.
That's the correct answer.
Whatever makes you happy.
I don't want to die to Ouchie. Okay. Kaze Kage too easy. Question: would you date Emo Bastila or Ahsoka?
Ahsoka.
I'm assuming you're talking about Fulcrum Ahsoka, because I think Snips may not be legal.
That would be wrong. Yeah, I'm talking Ahsoka, Tana, Fulcrum.
Yeah, then Ahsoka Tana Fulcrum.
Yeah, it's my girl.
Do you have a say in this Far Cry?
I'm into Anakin.
Okay, there you go.
So there you go. Okay.
She's going off the board with her response.
Okay.
All right. Speedo kills question: seems devs are focusing on Zeta Finn C3PO interaction instead of the effect on heroic Sith raid. Do you see them making the adjustment in the kits? I mean, that's kind of what they did with the Night Sisters, right?
Mm-hmm.
This was all a Phase 3 thing, and instead they changed the way that the Night Sisters worked. And to be fair, they came up with a really good solution for Acolyte and Zombie that didn't really impact their play.
No.
Plus, they gave a buff to Zombie in the process and managed to solve the problem with the Sith raid. And so if the problem is the crazy number of exposes and that kind of stuff, chances are you're going to get some kind of change where there's probably a limit to the number of exposes that can be triggered for Finn Zeta or something like that.
They'll just take away his blaster and give him a lightsaber.
Well, he almost beat Kylo with it, so he's not that bad at it. I mean, we'll see what they come up with. They came up with a good one for the Night Sisters, so I'm going to. I know this isn't the word people want to use with CG right now, but I'm going to trust that they come up with a good solution for this, and that's part of the reason why they've delayed in producing anything quickly. So we'll see how it works out. I hope they change more with the interaction on the C-3PO side than they do the Finn side, because one of the things with Finn was that you used a character like a Haldo or an R2 for an AoE to hit all the explosives at once. And so if you reduce the number of explosives that are getting hit in a particular turn, then you kind of negate one of the old teams that was still kind of balanced.
Yes.
So you have to be cautious about what solution you're giving. The problem is the number of explosives that are being triggered through C-3PO with the Rebels. And so we'll see how they decide to come up with that.
Maybe they'll just ban Finn from the raid. No, I agree. What they did with Night Sister Zombie, now that I've been able to actually play with the kit and stuff, it's not that bad of a fix. I like it. They did a good job without completely destroying that character. Let's hope they do the same for Finn, you know?
Mm-hmm. Oh, the sexy Buddha is in chat.
Oh, Lord.
What's up, Loki?
All right. And then last question. From the Daniel Morgan question, how many shipbuilding material credits will we need to level an arena team to level 90?
Over 9,000.
Quite a lot.
Yeah, that's scary to even think about.
I think it's what was it, like 8 mil? 8 or 10 mil?
I think it was 8 mil just
like
for
that?
the capital ship.
Yeah.
And then you have the individual ships, which you're probably going to... Well, we don't even know what if it is level 90, I think... I'm trying to remember how much... It's been a while since I've looked at how much it takes to level up a ship. It probably is going to be somewhere in the range of about 5 million credits per ship. So 35 million plus that. So I'm going to guess roughly a full arena team is going to be about 50 million credits. Just for the arena team. So the 4 reinforcements, the 3 starting, and then the 1 capital ship. I'm going to guess will be somewhere around 50, but that's 50 million. But that's just going to be a guess at this point. So, yeah.
Science.
Okay. And that was it. And I think a few more
Cool.
questions came
Nice.
in, but we're at the end of time. So.
Yeah, we are. All right, Finn, if you want to close us out and talk about that ACS stuff. I think that'd be good.
So we're still raising money for the American Cancer Society. The link is in the description of the lunch stream here, so you guys can go ahead and donate. Tomorrow we will set up the wheel to roll who wins the 4,500 prize. We crossed over the 4,500 threshold, so we will roll for an ACS prize giveaway. We can do that tomorrow, so join us for that. We'll see who wins that, and anyone that donates has a chance to get the Mara Jade lightsaber once we hit our 15,000 goal. So if you guys haven't, please donate to the American Cancer Society. We're doing a half marathon in April for it, and so we're going to be doing probably another live stream next month, so be on the lookout for that, where we'll be streaming for 12 hours trying to raise money again for the American Cancer Society before our half marathon. Our goal is 15,000. We are at we're getting close to a third of the way there now, so we're at 4,500 out of 15,000, so we're moving along nicely. So anything you guys can help will be definitely appreciated, and we'll have some more fun stuff to give away and all of that coming up soon.
All right, and make sure you guys, if you haven't, give us a thumbs up on the video. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't, and check out our Patreon. So with that, we'll call this Monday stream done. So on behalf of myself and the crew, thank you guys for being here. We really appreciate everybody's support. With that, we are going to bid you a fond farewell, and we will holler at you later. Peace.